What is going on, you guys? Today I have another quick video review for you. This one's from Timothy Ward, and it's called "The System is Using Us," so it's time that we start using the system. Let's get into it.
What's going on, everybody? Tim here, back with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about a topic that the powers that be, the people who run the world, who set up the system we currently live in, would rather we didn't talk about. I almost started to call it a secret, but it's not a secret. We all know it. We just don't think about it. It's been actively hidden from us. That topic I want to talk about today is the fact that the system is dependent on us. The system is dependent on the worker/consumer to keep going. If we all stop working and consuming, the system collapses. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that'd be horrible. But the reason we're even talking about this is because the system is not set up to benefit us, the worker/consumer. So we have a system that we empower, that we keep going, that is actively taking away our time, energy, and wealth from us. So we are powering a system that is taking our power away from us.
Okay, so I heard someone say recently that the system is designed to keep us broke, anxious, and tired. Essentially, so we work for them for 8 hours a day and then don't really get anything done afterwards, which is common for a lot of people, right? I'm tired, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it after work, I'll do it tomorrow. Scrolls phone, watches Netflix, repeat. You know what I mean?
The more power we give it, the less power we have. That's a problem. But here's the clever little situation that's developed. Since they know that the system is dependent on us, what they have cleverly done is made it seem like we're dependent on the system. Actually, in a healthy society, in a healthy system, it's symbiotic, that you help each other. But in our system, we're the backbone of it, but they've cleverly made it seem like we need them. They need us, but they've made it seem like we need them, right? And that's why I want to talk about in today's video how we use the system to break free from the system. But first, let's talk about how they make it seem like we need them. They do this by getting us as deeply indebted to the system as possible. Now, we all start out, most of us 18, we ain't got no money. Yeah, you got to go work in the system to get some money. But that wasn't enough, right? That's not enough. Because if you go in the system, equal, you might get up out of there soon. So why do you think they came up with the ever increasing cost of college? In the messaging of hey, if you don't go to college, you're going to be a failure in the system.
Yeah, and that's not to mention mortgages for houses. So you get in debt for houses. They tell you to do that. And then they tell you to get in debt for college. And they're telling kids that, by the way. Get into debt, go to college, even though you don't know what you want to do with your life. When their brain isn't fully developed. And they're asking them to do that, then they switch their majors and they waste more money. If you actually knew that you wanted to be a doctor, for example, perfect, that's great. And then I want you to also question, is it you that wanted to be a doctor? Or was it someone who told you that? For example, government school, or maybe your mom, right? Your family member was like, you should really be a doctor, Jimmy. And then you just believe that your whole life. Maybe deep down, you're watching this and you're like, I don't really like being a doctor. And you get stuck in that idea of the sunk cost fallacy. Well, I spent so much time becoming a doctor that I can't change it now. But you can. You get one life.
So a lot of people, 18, 19, 20, early, young, you don't even know that much yet. They start out in the system before they even had a job before a lot of kids, before they even made a dollar, they are indebted to the system. Before they've ever made a dollar, they owe tens of thousands of dollars. Now you got to be in the system. You need the system to pay that money back. Okay? You go to college. You get in debt, a lot of people. Got to get a job when you get out to pay the money back. Now you need a car to get to the job because public transportation, especially in America, is horrible. Maybe where you live is not so bad, but in America, not that good. Some cities, yes, but in most cases, no. So you got to get a car so you can get to work. Pay back the money you already owe. First job. So that's 2 bills. Then they come with the messaging of hey, the best asset you can ever buy is a house. Don't rent. Renting's bad. If you're going to be successful, you need to buy a house or a condo. So that's another big bill you get, right? You see this? You see how they're slowly, with the advertising and the messaging and different things they're doing, basically making you take steps to where you are dependent on the system. And then they got you. And it's beneficial for them when they've got you because the more you work in the system, the more wealth you send up top to them. That's the game. They don't really care what you do with your life. But if you stay trapped in the system, they get enriched. They get empowered. Then the older you get, they start setting in with the messaging oh, you're 27 and you're not married. What's wrong with you? You don't have kids. Something's wrong with you. You get married, you have kids, you have a family. You're even deeper in the system. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of this stuff. There's nothing wrong with college. There's nothing wrong with a car. There's nothing wrong with working, having a family. Nothing wrong with any of that.
And by the way, I think this is happening to a lot of people, especially in the West. Men and women both. I would say I feel worse for women too, because imagine the amount of propaganda that it took to convince them that being a boss babe and independent and climbing the corporate ladder was better than having a family. And again, like, not that you can't do both, but people are putting off having a family, essentially making it less likely to happen. And that's just absolutely nuts to me. Like, a corporate job that sees you as replaceable, you're doing that for them. And on that note, by the way, the family part, if you want to talk about other cultures like India or South Asian or Latin America, those families stick together, even if they're all like having great paying jobs like doctor, lawyer, whatever. They'll live together for longer to build wealth together, while Americans or maybe some other Westerners will split up. And so we're not able to build wealth as easy. And one thing to note here is a guy named John D. Rockefeller funded the public school system, and he told them he wanted a nation full of workers and not free thinkers. So people who don't think for themselves. They work at a desk all day, like at school, maybe also like at work. They clock in, they clock out. They ask if they can go to the bathroom. They get permission for a lunch break or when they can take time off. What kind of life is that? And you're making them money, building their dream, but not building yours. Think about it.
Problem comes when they push these things on you and make you feel like you have to do them at a certain level within certain time periods. Instead of just letting people naturally figure out when they want to do all this stuff, it's pushed on you, especially the college thing, at a very young age when you don't know no better. And it's pushed on you like there's something wrong with you if you don't do these things by these certain times. Fast forward, the average person by the time they're 30 is like so indebted to the system, they got them for the rest of their life. And then they start with the retirement talk. It's just like, oh, if you don't have $1 million saved by the time you retire, it's going to be horrible. You're going to be living in the sewers under Las Vegas. Oh, So they started on that to get you like, oh, I better work harder at this job and really boost up my 401k, which by the way.
And by the way, hustle culture is BS completely. People learn to work smarter. Working hard alone is commendable, but it doesn't get you where you want to go. You need a little bit of a mix, preferably more working smart than hard. I mean, think about this. Like, at a certain point, you make the leap from working hard. Maybe you were working really long hours, 10, 12, 16. Even doctors do that. But they had no life. Or a good example here, too, would be like a construction worker. They should get paid more for the amount of time that they're putting in. That manual labor, hard work all day. Then they have no time for themselves. So there's something really wrong with that message. So you need to learn to work smarter and use your time outside of your 9 to 5 so that you can leverage that into getting out.
They took away pensions, so now you have to have, we have 401ks. Another example, more dependent on the system. I got to stay at this job, got to load up my 401k because I need to have millions of dollars when I go to retire. All these clever little ways they make it so that we're so dependent on this system that is bankrupting all of us that we just have to stay working at it basically until we die. Or if we're really fortunate, at 67, we get to.
I had a friend's dad pass away recently at like 65 as soon as he retired. All those things that he wanted to do when he retired. Think about that. You don't have as much time as you think you have.
Hopefully we got enough money, we can do what we want. What I'm saying, and what this video is really about, is using the system to break free from the system. But first we had to identify the need to break free from the system. Because the average person just goes along with the system. The average person thinks the system works. The average person is like, oh, if I just work harder, if I just stay on this job longer, if I just do what they tell me to do more, then I'll get what I'm going for. Now, when you really ask the average person what they're going for, a lot of times we don't know, but they dangle that carrot and we go after it. I can be a success too. What does success mean to you? They might ramble off all those things we listed that they've told us, will make us successful. But at the end of the day, all we're really doing, even if we achieve those things, a lot of times they don't make us happy. We look successful, but we don't feel successful because we don't care about that stuff a lot of times. But also too, even if we achieve those things, at what cost? At what price? I guarantee you can walk up to a lot of on paper successful people and they will tell you if they could do it over again, they might have switched it up because it wasn't worth it. Maybe some people it is, but I think for a lot of people, it's not worth it. I think we can look and identify this, and more people are doing this. More and more people are realizing, like, bro, this thing is not set up for me for whatever reason. For most of it, just because we're not one of the elites. So it's like, this system is not set up for me. So I'm gonna break free from it. But what we really the only thing we really have is the system, because it permeates so much of our world. So we have to learn to use the system to break free from the system. And I think I've got a really good analogy to like illustrate how you do this. I love using slavery analogies. Anybody who follows the channel, I use a lot of slavery analogies because I think it hits home. People sit up and listen when you say slavery, huh? Okay, so imagine you are enslaved on a plantation and you decided you had enough. I'm getting up out of here. However, in order to run away, you need food, you need supplies, you need like extra clothes, whatever, lots of things. Because you're gonna be on the road running away for days, weeks, maybe even a month or so. Excuse me. So you need supplies. However, as a slave, all you ever get is like what they give you. You know what I mean? Like you don't have nothing. You can't just go down to the, to the Walmart and be like, hey, I need some stuff to run away. You can't do that. So like all you have is what they give you. Whatever massa gives you, what you have to do in order to like get the things you need to have like your bug out escape bag is you got to take from the little bit of food they do give you. You got to take some of that, put it aside. The little bit of clothes they do give you, you got to take some of that, put aside. Any little thing that they give you that you can use, you got to sacrifice now. You got to put some of that aside so that you have what you need or as much as you can get of what you need for when that day comes when you escape. So it may take you a long time to get together enough of what you need to say, okay, I think I can make it up north with this, right? And I feel like that's how it is today, okay? Like we only get so much down there to the job. We're in the system, we're working, we got these bills we got to pay. After, we only get so much down there to the job. And then after, especially these days where prices seem to be going up, whatever, after, we put aside the money to survive. You know what I mean? We only got so much left. And sometimes that's not a lot. For some people, very little. But I think we have to use, even if it means sacrificing even more now, I think we got to start using the time, the energy, the money we have left over after we went to work in the system, done what we had to do in the system. We have to start using that in the best way possible, setting it aside, saving it, investing it, using it to do other things the best way we can. And it's different for everyone, but we got to start using the resources we get back from the system to eventually break free from the system. Because that's the only way we're going to do it. Unless you're like, oh, I'm going to win the lottery one day and break free. But it's like, we have to start like planning. First, we got to realize I need to break free from this. Second, we got to start planning. Okay, what do I think is going to be my path to freedom? And then we got to figure out, okay, what do I need? And then we got to start getting it from the one place pretty much most of us can get it from is the system. But things are different. Like you get up and go to work a little different when you realize I'm not just doing this and I'm not going to be doing this forever. And this is not my entire existence. Just work, buy, get in debt, die. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be my existence. My existence now is like work, do what I got to do to survive, but also be putting things aside because I'm going to escape. Now you have a plan. Now it's about freedom. Now it's not as disheartening. It's not just like, all right, I'm doing this again. I'll be doing this the rest of my life. And the only occasional joy I have is when I blow money on something I don't really need and I'm happy for about 15 seconds. No, now you've got a plan. Now you start thinking about the things you want to do. Instead of focusing all the time on the things you're doing that you don't want to be doing, it is a beautiful thing to spend most of your time focusing on what you want to do. When I get up out of here, oh, this is what I'm going to do. When I no longer have to work this 9 to 5, 50 hours a week, this is what I'm going to do. When I'm, insert your dream here, living this life, oh, this is what it's going to be about. And all the decisions you're making now and all the things you're doing now that you really don't want to do, it is like building the foundation for your future life. If we're at a place in life where like maybe we don't get to wake up every day and do what we want to do, if perhaps we're doing 90% stuff we don't want to do, it gets a lot easier.
It's funny. I was watching a video where a guy he was being funny, but also it's clearly not a joke based on what this guy's talking about too. He was like screaming in his car. He's like, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to be paying taxes. I didn't ask to be paying for car insurance. Who made me do this? Why? I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. Why is this system being pushed onto me? And I think it was just funny because, this guy's making great points.
If we realize, oh, this is just what I have to do now to build the foundation for what I'm going to do in the future. This is not what my future is going to look like. This is what my present has to look like. Right now, I'm still trapped in the system. I'm still fully in the system, but I'm going to start making decisions to get out of the system. And the day is going to come when I'm free, when I'm out. And then I can do what I want to do. I think it is all about freedom. I think the more of our life we have control over, the happier we are. And I know some people are like, well, I don't really know what I want to do. I promise you, you get a little more freedom, you'll figure it out. Like when you have more free time on your hands to do what you want to do, you will figure it out. You'll be doing something. You will be doing something, okay? And moving forward on this channel, I want to start talking a lot more about that. I just want us all to be spending as much of our life doing the things we want to do and not continually getting trapped deeper and deeper and deeper in a system that does not care about us. It doesn't care about us. It doesn't work for us. It's not supposed to work for us. So it's like, why are we willfully giving into it and just like, well, that's the way it is? No, it's not. At least it's not that way for me. I hope it's not going to be that way for you. We are going to use the system to break free from the system and live our life the way we want to live it. In the comment box below, I would love to hear your thoughts on.
Yeah, guys, really great video. And by the way, go subscribe to Timothy Ward's channel subscribe over here as well. I appreciate you for listening, and I want to leave you with this. Recently, I was watching a video where a single mom from the US moved to Bangkok, Thailand with her son, who was about 8 or 9. And what you can do in Bangkok, Thailand, by the way, is go to a nice condo, nice apartment complex in the middle of the city and say, I want to pay for 12 months, so a full year lease, and I want it to be 450 USD, roughly, let's say. You could probably negotiate that too, because they will negotiate with you. But you could say that and then live in this nice place with a nice pool, in-unit laundry, in-unit gym, right? So you don't need to go elsewhere to pay for a gym. You can cook at home too. So $450 a month versus whatever you're paying in the US. And that's just for rent. So you wouldn't exceed $1,000 for like living expenses unless you've got like some major debts or something. But think about this, like most people will overcomplicate that, like, oh, it must be really hard to move out. Look, it's not for everybody, right? But people will overcomplicate it, like they'll think there's a bunch of paperwork and things like that, but it's really easy. Get your passport, go over there. You can renew your visa as well. And you can go, if you need to, you can go check out another country for a little bit, like Vietnam or somewhere close by, and then come back. And your visa will be renewed again. There's long-term ones you can look into. But I bring that up because you can do this. And I want you to know that, especially if you watch this far into the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.